Raymond got the Bible, thumb on the spine. Isaiah saldivar, set the pace at the time. 90 days, no flex, just pages and grind. From Genesis to Revelation, he's walking the line. Early in the morning, before the world calls. One chapter at a time, he don't skip, he don't stall. He read it in the dark, then he read it again. What started as a seed turned the room into amen. From the first book to the last page, keep the fire lit, keep the heart engaged. One day, one word, one step, one breath. Raymond stay faithful to the finish of the test. 90-day Bible read, 90-day Bible read, Genesis to Revelation. 90-day Bible read, read it, read it, read it. Raymond on the word, Raymond on the word, Isaiah on the journey, and the truth gets heard. He got a pen in his hand, marks in the margin, promises underlined like he's building the garden. Psalms for the hurt, Proverbs for the walk, Gospels for the hunger when the night get dark. You don't need a stage, he don't need a crown, just a quiet little yes when the pressure come down. And every chapter hit like a fresh new lane, from the old world dust to the lamb's bright rain. From the first book to the last page, keep the fire lit, keep the heart engaged. One day, one word, one step, one breath. Raymond stay faithful to the finish of the test. 90-day Bible read, 90-day Bible read, Genesis to Revelation. 90-day Bible read, read it, read it, read it. Raymond on the word, Raymond on the word, Isaiah on the journey, and the truth gets heard. Feel tired, he still turns the page with the holy desire. No fast talk, no smoke, just the soul in tune. Morning after morning till the whole book bloom. 90-day Bible read, 90-day Bible read, Genesis to Revelation. 90-day Bible read, read it, read it, read it. Raymond on the word, Raymond on the word, on the journey, and the truth gets heard.
All right. God bless everybody. I hope everybody had a good Sunday. And good morning as we get into day number 9 of the daily 90-day Bible challenge with Isaiah saldivar. So I pray that this word blesses you. I pray that you're reading the Bibles with us. And without further ado, let's get it started. Like always, I will mute myself and let Isaiah do all the reading.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to day number 9 of our Bible in 90 days, where we stream every single day at 2 o'clock till we finish the Bible in 90 days. So thank you for joining, being a part of what we're doing. We are in Leviticus, so we are going for it here. We're going to push through. We're going to start in Leviticus chapter 15. For those asking, we're using the YouVersion or Life Church Bible app. The plan is called Bible in 90 days, linked in the description. And then we are using the NLT version, which is why up there it says NLT version. There's all the information. So I appreciate you guys joining every day, being in the chat. I know today is the Super Bowl, but who cares? We're going to read through the Bible here. Let's get started in Leviticus 15. Stay with us, okay? Did not think this is what I'd be doing today, but here we are. Bodily discharges. That is what we're talking about in Leviticus chapter 15. Here we go. Verse 1. The Lord said to Moses and Aaron, give the following instructions to the people of Israel. Any man who has a bodily discharge is ceremonially unclean. Okay, I'm going to try to keep a straight face on this. This defilement is caused by his discharge. Whether the discharge continues or stops, in either case, the man is unclean. Any bed on which the man with the discharge lies and anything on which he sits will be ceremonially unclean. I got to get that word down. Ceremonially. Ceremonially. Okay. So if you touch the man's bed, you must wash your clothes and bathe yourself in water, and you'll remain unclean until evening. If you sit where the man with the discharge has sat, you must wash your clothes and bathe yourself in water, and you'll remain unclean until evening. If you touch the man with the discharge, you must wash your clothes and bathe yourself in water, and you'll remain unclean till evening. If the man spits on you, you must wash your clothes and bathe yourself in water, you'll remain unclean until evening. Any saddle blanket on which the man rode will be ceremonially unclean. If you touch anything that was under the man, you'll be unclean until evening. You must wash your clothes and bathe yourself in water, and you'll remain unclean until evening. If the man touches you without first rinsing his hands, you must wash your clothes and bathe yourself in water, and you'll remain unclean until evening. Okay. This is going to be, we're going to push through today, all right? Any clay pot the man touches must be broken, and any wooden utensil he touches must be rinsed with water. When the man with the discharge is healed, he must count off 7 days from the period of purification. Then he must wash his clothes and bathe himself in fresh water, and he'll be ceremonially clean. Let me make sure my mic's on. All right, here we go. When the man with the discharge is healed, he must count. Okay, we did that. On the 8th day, he must get 2 turtle doves or 2 young pigeons and come before the Lord at the entrance of the tabernacle and give his offerings to the priest. The priest will offer 1 bird for a sin offering and the other for a burnt offering. And through this process, the priest will purify the man before the Lord for his discharge. Whenever a man has an emission of semen, all right, he must bathe his entire body, and he'll remain ceremonially unclean until the next evening. Any clothing or leather with semen on it must be washed in water and will remain unclean until evening. After a man and woman have sexual intercourse, viewer discretion is advised today, guys. They must each bathe in water, and they'll remain unclean until the next evening. Whenever a woman has her menstrual period, she will be ceremonially unclean for 7 days, and anyone who touches her during that time will be unclean until evening. Anything on which the woman lies or sits during the time of her period will be unclean. If any of you touch her bed, you must wash your clothes and bathe yourself in water, and you'll remain unclean until evening. I have a feeling we're going to say that like 1,000 times today. If you touch any object she sat on, you must wash your clothes and bathe yourself in water, and you'll remain, type in the chat, unclean until evening. This includes her bed or any object she sat on. You will be unclean until evening if you touch it. If a man has sexual intercourse with her and her blood touches him, her menstrual impurity will be transmitted to him. He will remain unclean for 7 days, and any bed on which he lies will be unclean. If a woman who has a flow of blood for many days that is unrelated to her menstrual period, or if the blood continues beyond the normal period, she is ceremonially unclean, as during her menstrual period. The woman will be unclean as long as the discharge continues. All right. Any bed that she lies on and object she sits on during that time will be unclean, just as during her normal menstrual period. If any of you touch these things, you'll be ceremonially unclean. You must wash your clothes and bathe yourself in water, and you'll remain unclean until evening. When the woman's bleeding stops, she must count off 7 days. Then she will be ceremonially clean. On the 8th day, she must bring 2 turtle doves or 2 young pigeons and present them to the priest at the entrance of the tabernacle. The priest will offer 1 for a sin offering and the other for a burnt offering. Through this process, the priest will purify her before the Lord for her ceremonial impurity caused by her bleeding. This is how you will guard the people of Israel from ceremonial, man, one day I'll get that word, uncleanness. Otherwise, they would die, for the impurity would defile my tabernacle that stands among them. These are the instructions for dealing with anyone who has a bodily discharge, a man who is unclean because of an emission of semen, or a woman during her menstrual period. It applies to any man or woman who has a bodily discharge and to a man who has sexual intercourse with a woman who is ceremonially unclean. Chapter 16, the Day of Atonement. The Lord spoke to Moses after the death of Aaron's 2 sons, who died after they entered the Lord's presence and burned the wrong kind of fire before him. The Lord said to Moses, "Warn your brother, Aaron, not to enter the most holy place behind the inner curtain whenever he chooses. If he does, he will die. For the ark's cover, the place of atonement is there, and I myself am present in the cloud above the atonement cover. When Aaron enters the sanctuary area, he must follow the instructions fully. He must bring a young bull for a sin offering and a ram for a burnt offering. He must put on linen tunic and linen undergarments worn next to his body. He must tie the linen sash around his waist and put the linen turban on his head. These are sacred garments, so he must bathe himself in water before he puts them on. Aaron must take from the community of Israel 2 male goats for a sin offering and a ram for a burnt offering. Aaron will present his own bull as an offering to purify himself and his family, making them right with the Lord. Then he must take the 2 male goats and present them to the Lord at the entrance of the tabernacle. He is to cast sacred lots to determine which goat will be reserved as an offering to the Lord, which will carry the sins of the people to the wilderness of Azazel. Aaron will then present a sin offering, the goat chosen by the lot for the Lord. The goat offering, the goat chosen by lot for the Lord. Okay. The other goat, the scapegoat, chosen by lot to be sent away, will be kept alive, standing before the Lord. When it's sent away to Azazel in the wilderness, the people will be purified and made right with the Lord. Aaron will present his own bull as a sin offering to purify himself and his family, making them right with the Lord. After he has slaughtered the bull as a sin offering, he will fill an incense burner with burning coals from the altar that stands before the Lord. Then he'll take 2 handfuls of fragrant powdered incense and carry the burner and the incense behind the inner curtain. There in the Lord's presence, he'll put the incense on the burning coals so that a cloud of incense will rise above the ark's cover, the place of atonement that rests on the ark of the covenant. If he follows these instructions, he will not die. Then he must take some of the blood of the bull, dip his finger in it, and sprinkle it on the east side of the atonement cover. He must sprinkle blood 7 times with his finger in front of the atonement cover. Then Aaron must slaughter for the first goat as a sin offering for the people and carry its blood behind the inner curtain. There will be a sprinkle the goat's there. He will sprinkle the goat's blood over the atonement cover and in front of it, just as he did with the bull's blood. Through this process, he will purify the most holy place, and he will do the same for the entire tabernacle because of the defiling sin and rebellion of the Israelites. No one else is allowed inside the tabernacle when Aaron enters it for the purification ceremony in the most holy place. No one may enter until he comes out again after purifying himself, his family, and all the congregation of Israel, making them right with the Lord. Then Aaron will come out to purify the altar that stands before the Lord. He'll do this by taking some of the blood from the bull and the goat by putting on each of the horns of the altar. Then he must sprinkle the blood with his finger 7 times over the altar, and this way he will cleanse it from Israel's defilement and make it holy. When Aaron has finished purifying the most holy place in the tabernacle and the altar, he must present the live goat. He will lay both of his hands on the goat's head and confess over it all the wickedness, rebellion, and the sins of the people of Israel. In this way, he will transfer the people's sin to the head of the goat. Then a man specifically chosen for the task will drive the goat into the wilderness. As the goat goes in the wilderness, he'll carry all the people's sin upon itself into a desolate land. When Aaron goes back into the tabernacle, he must take off the linen garments he was wearing when he entered the most holy place, and he must leave the garments there. Then he must bathe himself with water in a sacred place, put on his regular garments, and go outside to sacrifice a burnt offering for himself and a burnt offering for the people. Through this process, he'll purify himself and the people, making them right with the Lord. He must then burn all of the fat of the sin offering on the altar. The man chosen to drive the scapegoat into the wilderness of Azazel must wash his clothes and bathe himself in water, then he may return to the camp. The bull and the goat presented as sin offerings, whose blood Aaron takes in the most holy place for the purification ceremony, will be carried outside the camp. The animal hides, internal organs, and dung are all to be burned. The man who burns them must wash his clothes and bathe himself in water before returning to the camp. On the 10th day of the appointed month in early autumn, you must deny yourselves. Neither native-born Israels nor foreigners living among you may do any kind of work. This is a permanent law for you. On the day offerings of purification will be made for you, and you'll be purified by the Lord's presence from all your sins. It'll be a Sabbath day of complete rest, and you must deny yourselves. This is a permanent law for you. In future generations, the purification ceremony will be performed by the priest who has been anointed and ordained to serve as high priest in the place of his ancestor Aaron. He will put on the holy linen garments and purify the most holy place, the tabernacle, the altar, the priests, and the entire congregation. This is a permanent law for you to purify the people of Israel from their sins, making them right with the Lord once each year. Moses followed all these instructions exactly as the Lord had commanded him. Chapter 17. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Give the following instructions to Aaron and his son and all the people of Israel. This is what the Lord has commanded. If any native Israelite sacrifices a bull or a lamb or a goat anywhere inside or outside the camp, instead of bringing it to the entrance of the tabernacle to present it as an offering to the Lord, that person will be guilty as a murderer. Such a person has shed blood and will be cut off from the community." The purpose of this rule is to stop the Israelites from sacrificing animals in open fields. It will ensure that they bring their sacrifices to the priest at the entrance of the tabernacle so he can present them to the Lord as peace offerings. Then the priest will be able to splatter the blood against the Lord's altar at the entrance of the tabernacle, and he'll burn the fat as a pleasing aroma to the Lord. The people must no longer be unfaithful to the Lord by offering sacrifices to the goat idols. This is a permanent law for them to be observed from generation to generation. Give them this command as well. If any native Israelite or foreigner living among you offers a burnt offering or a sacrifice, but does not bring it to the entrance of the tabernacle to offer it to the Lord, the person will be cut off from the community. And if any native Israelite or foreigner living among you eats or drinks blood in any form, I will turn against that person and cut him off from the community of your people. For the life of the body is in the blood. I've given you the blood on the altar to purify you, making you right with the Lord. It is the blood given in exchange for a life that makes purification possible. That is why I've said to the people of Israel, you must never eat or drink blood, neither nor the foreigners living among you. And if any native Israelite or foreigners living among you goes hunting and kills an animal or bird that is approved for the eating, he must drain its blood and cover it with earth. The life of every creature is in its blood. That is why I've said to the people of Israel, you must never eat or drink blood, for the life of the creature is in its blood. So whoever consumes blood will be cut off from the community. And if any native born Israelites or foreigners eat the meat of an animal that died naturally or was torn up by the wild animals, they must wash their clothes and bathe themselves in water. They will remain ceremonially unclean until evening, and then they will be clean. But if you do not wash your clothes and bathe yourselves, they'll be punished for their sin. Chapter 18, Forbidden Sexual Practices. All right, listen up, ladies and gentlemen. Then the Lord said to Moses, give the following instructions to the people of Israel. I'm the Lord your God. So do not act like the people in Egypt, where you used to live, or like the people of Canaan, where I'm taking you. You must not imitate their way of life. You must obey all my regulations and obey my decrees, for I am the Lord your God. If you obey my decrees and my regulations, you'll find life through them. I am the Lord. You must never have You must never have sexual relations with a closer relative, for I am the Lord. Do not violate your father by having sexual relations with your mother. She's your mother, and you must not have sexual relations with her. Do not have sexual relations with any of your father's wives, for this would violate your father. Do not have sexual relations with your sister or your half sister, whether she's your father's daughter or your mother's daughter, whether she's born into your house or someone else's. Do not have sexual relations with your granddaughter, or whether she's your son's daughter or your daughter's daughter, or this would violate yourself. Do not have sexual relations with your stepsister, the daughter of any of your father's wives, for she is your sister. Do not have sexual relations with your father's sister, for this is your father's close relative. Do not have sexual relations with your mother's sister, for she is your mother's close relative. Do not violate your uncle, your father's brother, by having sexual relations with his wife, for she is your aunt. Do not have sexual relations with your daughter-in-law. She is your son's wife, so you must not have sexual relations with her. All right. Do not have sexual relations with your brother's wife. That would violate your brother. Do not have sexual relations with a woman and her daughter, and do not take her granddaughter, whether her son's daughter or her daughter's daughter, or have sexual relations with them. They are your close relatives, and this would be a wicked act. While your wife is living, do not marry her sister and have sexual relations with her, for they would be rivals. Do not have sexual relations. I'm just going to say, well, I guess I'll just say it the way it is. Do not have sexual relations with a woman during her menstrual period, her period of menstrual impurity. Do not defile yourself by having sexual intercourse with your neighbor's wife. Do not permit any of your children to be offered as sacrifices to Moloch, for you must not bring the shame of the name of your God. I am the Lord. Do not practice homosexuality. Having sex with another man as with a woman, it is a detestable sin. A man must not defile himself by having sex with an animal, and a woman should not defile herself to a male animal or have intercourse with it. This is a perverse act. Do not defile yourselves in any way, for the people I'm driving out have defiled themselves in all these ways. Because the entire land has been defiled, I'm punishing the people that live there, and I will cause the land to vomit them out. You must obey all my decrees and regulations, and you must not commit any of these detestable sins. This applies both to native-born Israelites and the foreigners living among you. All these detestable activities are practiced by the people of the land where I'm taking you, and this is how the land has become defiled. So do not defile the land and give it a reason to vomit you out, or it will vomit out the people who live there now. Whoever commits any of these sins will be cut off from the community of Israel. So obey my instructions, not construction, and do not defile yourselves by committing these detestable practices that were committed by people who live in the land before you, for I am the Lord your God. Chapter 19, Holiness and Personal Conduct. The Lord also said to Moses, give the following instructions to the entire community of Israel. You must be holy because I, the Lord your God, am holy. Each of you must show great respect for your mother and father, and you must always observe my Sabbath day of rest. I am the Lord your God. Do not put your trust in idols or metal images of gods for yourselves. I am the Lord your God. When you sacrifice a peace offering to the Lord, offer it properly so you'll be accepted by God. The sacrifice must be eaten on the same day you offer it or on the next day. Whatever is left over until the third day must be completely burned up. If any of the sacrifice is eaten on the third day, it'll be contaminated, and I will not accept it. Anyone who eats it on the third day will be punished for defiling what is holy to the Lord, and will be cut off from the community. When you harvest the crops of your land, do not harvest the grain along the edges of your fields, and do not pick up what the harvesters drop. It is the same with your grape crop. Do not strip every last bunch of grapes from the vine, and do not pick up the grapes that fall on the ground. Leave them for the poor and the foreigners living among you. I am the Lord your God. Do not steal. Do not deceive or cheat one another. Do not bring shame on the name of God by using it to swear falsely. I am the Lord. Do not defraud or rob your neighbor. Do not make your hired workers wait until the next day to receive pay. Do not insult the deaf or cause the blind to stumble. You must fear God. I am the Lord. Do not twist justice in legal matters by favoring the poor or being partial to the rich and powerful. Always judge people fairly. Do not spread slanderous gossip among your people. Oh, let me highlight that for some of you in the back. Do not stand idly by while your neighbor's life is threatened. I am the Lord. Do not nurse hatred in your heart for any of your relatives and confront the people directly so you'll not be held guilty for their sin. Do not seek revenge or bear a grudge against a fellow Israelite, but love your neighbor as yourself. I am the Lord. You must obey all my decrees. Do not mate two different kinds of animals. Do not plant your field with two different kinds of seeds. Do not wear clothing woven from two different kinds of thread. If a man has sex with a slave girl whose freedom has never been purchased, who is committed to being another man's wife, he must pay full compensation to her master. But since she is not a free woman, neither the man nor the woman will be put to death. This man, however, must bring a ram as a guilt offering and present it to the Lord at the entrance of the tabernacle. The priest will then purify him before the Lord with the ram of guilt offering, and the man's sin will be forgiven. When you enter the land and plant fruit trees, leave the fruit unharvested for the first 3 years and consider it forbidden. Do not eat it. In the 4th year of the entire crop must be consecrated to the Lord as a celebration of praise. Finally, in the 5th year, you may eat the fruit, and if you follow this pattern, your harvest will increase. I am the Lord your God. Do not eat meat that has been drained of its blood. Do not practice fortune telling or witchcraft. Do not trim off the hair on your temples or trim your beards. Do not cut your bodies for the dead, and don't mark your skin with tattoos. I am the Lord. Do not defile your daughter by making her a prostitute, or the land will be filled with prostitution and wickedness. Keep my Sabbath days of rest and show reverence toward my sanctuary. I am the Lord, O toward. Do not defile yourselves by turning into mediums or consult the spirits of the dead. I am the Lord your God. Stand up in the presence of the elderly and show respect for the age. Fear your God. I am the Lord. Do not take advantage of foreigners who live among you in your land. Treat them like native-born Israelites and love them as you love yourself. Remember that you were once foreigners living at the land of Egypt, and I am the Lord your God. Do not use dishonest standards when measuring length, weight, or volume. Your scales and weights must be accurate. Your containers for measuring dry materials or liquids must be accurate. I'm the Lord your God who brought you out of the land of Egypt. You must be careful to keep all my decrees and regulations by putting them into practice. I am the Lord. Chapter 20, Punishment for Disobedience. The Lord said to Moses, give the people of Israel these instructions, which apply both to native Israelites and the foreigners living in Israel. If any of them offer children as a sacrifice to Moloch, they must be put to death. The people of the community must stone them to death. I myself will turn against them and cut them off from the community because they've defiled my sanctuary and brought shame on my holy name by offering their children to Moloch. And if the people of the community ignore those who offer their children to Moloch and refuse to execute them, I myself will turn against them and their families and will cut them off from the community. This will happen to all who commit spiritual prostitution by worshiping Moloch. I will also turn against those who commit spiritual prostitution by putting their trust in mediums or in those who consult the spirits of the dead. I will cut them off from the community. So set yourselves apart to be holy, for I am the Lord your God. Keep all my decrees by putting them into practice, for I am the Lord who makes you holy. Anyone who dishonors father or mother must be put to death. Such a person is guilty of a capital offense. If a man commits adultery with his neighbor's wife, both the man and the woman who committed adultery must be put to death. If a man violates his father by having sex with one of his father's wives, both of the man and the woman must be put to death, for they're guilty of a capital offense. If a man has sex with his daughter-in-law, both must be put to death. They've committed a perverse act and are guilty of a capital offense. If a man practices homosexuality, having sex with another man as with a woman, both men who have committed the sin, they must be put to death, for they are guilty of capital offense. If a man marries both a woman and her mother, he has committed a wicked act. The man and both the woman must be burned to death to wipe out such wickedness from among you. If a man has sex with an animal, he must be put to death, and the animal must be killed. If a woman presents herself to a male animal to have intercourse with it, and the animal must be put to death. I already know this video is probably getting flagged for sure. He must kill both. You must kill both, for they are guilty of capital offense. If a man marries his sister, the daughter of either his father or his mother, and they have sexual relations, it is a shameful disgrace. They must be publicly cut off from the community. Since the man has violated his sister, he will be punished for his sins. If a man has sexual relations with a woman during her menstrual period, both of them must be cut off from the community, for together they've exposed the source of her blood flow. Do not have sex with your aunt, whether your mother's sister or your father's sister. This would be dishonor to close relatives. Both parties are guilty and will be punished for their sin. If a man has sex with his uncle's wife, I think we already did this. He has violated his uncle. Both the man and the woman will be punished, and they will die childless. If a man marries his brother's wife, it's an act of impurity. He has violated his brother, and the guilty couple will remain childless. You must keep all my decrees, decrees and regulations by putting them into practice. Otherwise, the land to which I'm bringing you as your new home will vomit you out. Do not live according to the customs of the people I'm driving out before you. It's because they do these things, these shameful things that I detest them. But I've promised you, you'll possess their land because I've given it to you as your possession, a land flowing with milk and honey. I am the Lord your God who has set you apart from all people. You must therefore make a distinction between ceremonially clean and unclean animals, and between clean and unclean birds. You must not defile yourselves by eating any unclean animals or birds or creatures that scurry on the ground. I have identified them as being unclean for you. You must be holy because I, the Lord, am holy. I have set you apart from all the people to be my very own. Men and women among you who act as mediums or who consult the spirits of the dead must be put to death by stoning. They are guilty of a capital offense. Chapter 21. Then the Lord said to Moses, give the following instructions to the priests, the descendants of Aaron. A priest must not make himself ceremonially unclean by touching the dead of a body of a relative. The only exceptions are his close relatives, his mother or father, son or daughter or brother, or his virgin sister who depends on him because she has no husband. But a priest must not defile himself and make himself unclean for someone who is related to him only by marriage. The priest must never shave their heads or trim their beards or cut their bodies. They must be set apart as holy for their God, to their God, and must never bring shame on the name of God. They must be holy for the ones who present the special gifts to the Lord, gifts of food for their God. Priests may not marry a woman defiled by prostitution, and they may not marry a woman who's divorced from her husband, and for the priests are set apart as holy for their God. You must treat them as holy because they offer food to your God. You must consider them holy because I, the Lord, am holy, and I make you holy. If a priest's daughter defiles herself by becoming a prostitute, she also defiles her father's holiness, and she must be burned to death. The high priest has the highest rank of all the priests. The anointing oil has been poured out on his head, and he's been ordained to wear the priestly garments. He must never leave his hair uncombed to tear his clothing. He must not defile himself by going near a dead body. He may not make himself ceremonially unclean even for his father or mother. He must not defile the sanctuary of his God by leaving it to attend to a dead person, for it has been made holy by the anointing oil of God. I am the Lord. The high priest may marry only a virgin. He may not marry a widow or a woman who is divorced or a woman who has defiled herself by prostitution. She must be a virgin from his own clan, so that he'll not dishonor his descendants among his clan, for I am the Lord who makes him holy. Then the Lord said to Moses, give the following instructions to Aaron. In all future generations, none of your descendants who has any defect will qualify to offer food to his God. No one who has a defect qualifies, whether he is blind, lame, disfigured, or deformed, or has a broken foot or arm, or is hunchbacked or dwarfed, or has a defective eye, or a skin sore or scab, or damaged testicles. Okay, sorry, that threw me off there. That was just so random. No descendants of Aaron who has a defect may approach the altar to present special gifts to the Lord. Since he has a defect, he must not approach the altar to offer food to his God. However, he may eat from the food offered to God, including the holy offerings and the most holy offerings. Yet because of his physical defect, he must not enter the room behind the inner curtain or approach the altar, for this would defile my holy place. I am the Lord who makes them holy. So Moses gave these instructions to Aaron and to all the Israelites. Chapter 22. The Lord said to Moses, tell Aaron and his sons to be very careful with the sacred gifts that the Israelites set apart for me, that they do not bring shame on my holy name. I am the Lord. Give them the following instructions. In all future generations, if any of your descendants is ceremonially unclean when he approaches the sacred offerings that the people of Israel consecrate to the Lord, he must be cut off from the presence. I am the Lord. If any of Aaron's descendants has a skin disease or any kind of discharge that makes him ceremonially unclean, he may not eat from the sacred offerings until he's been pronounced clean. He also become unclean by touching a corpse or by having an emission of semen. So by touching a small animal that is unclean or by touching someone who is ceremonially unclean for any reason, the man who is defiled in any of these ways will remain unclean until evening. He may not eat from the sacred offerings until he's bathed himself in water. When the sun goes down, he'll be ceremonially I've said that word so many times. Ceremonially clean again and may eat from the sacred offerings, for this is his food. He may not eat an animal that has died a natural death or has been torn apart by wild animals, for the world defile him. For this would defile him. I am the Lord. The priest must follow my instructions carefully. Otherwise, they'll be punished for their sin and will die for violating my instructions. I am the Lord who makes them holy. No one outside a priest's family may eat the sacred offerings. Even the guests and hired workers in a priest's home are not allowed to eat them. However, if the priest buys a slave for himself, and the slave may eat the sacred offerings, and if the slave has children, they may also share the food. If a priest's daughter marries someone outside the priestly family, she may no longer eat the sacred food or offerings. But if she becomes a widow or is divorced and has no children to support her and returns to live in her father's home as in her youth, she may eat her father's food again. Otherwise, no one outside of priest's family may eat the sacred offerings. Any such person who eats the sacred offerings without realizing it must pay the priest for the amount eaten, plus an additional 20%. The priest must not let the Israelites defile the sacred offering brought to the Lord by allowing unauthorized people to eat them. This would bring guilt upon them and require them to pay compensation. I am the Lord who makes them holy. And the Lord said to Moses, give Aaron and his sons and all the Israelites these instructions, which apply to both the native Israelites and the foreigners living among you. If you present a gift as a burnt offering to the Lord, whether it's to fulfill a vow or as a voluntary offering, you'll be accepted only if your offering is a male animal with no defects. It may be a bull, a ram, or a male goat. Do not present an animal with defects because the Lord will not accept it on your behalf. If you present a peace offering to the Lord from the herd or flock, whether it's to fulfill a vow or as a voluntary offering, you must offer a perfect animal. It may have no defect of any kind. You must not offer an animal that is blind, crippled, or injured, or has a wart, a skin sore, or scabs. Such animals must never be offered on the altar as a special gift to the Lord. If a bull or lamb has a leg that is too long or too short, it may be offered as a voluntary offering, but may not be offered to fulfill a vow. If an animal has damaged testicles or is castrated, you may not offer it to the Lord. You may never do this on your own land, and you must not accept such an animal from foreigners and then offer it as a sacrifice to your God. Such animals will not be accepted on your behalf, for they are mutilated or defective. And the Lord said to Moses, when a calf or lamb or goat is born, it must be left with its mother for 7 days. From the eighth day on, it'll be acceptable as a special gift to the Lord. But you must not slaughter a mother animal and her offspring on the same day, whether from the herd or the flock. When you bring a thanksgiving offering to the Lord, sacrifice it properly, so you'll be accepted. Eat the entire sacrificial animal on the day it was presented. Do not leave any of it until the next morning. I am the Lord. You must faithfully keep all my commands by putting them into practice, for I am the Lord. Do not bring shame on my holy name, for I will display my holiness among the people of Israel. I am the Lord who makes you holy. It was I who rescued you from the land of Egypt, that I might be your God. I am the Lord. All right, chapter 23. Here we go. We're pushing. We're going. The Lord said to Moses, give the following instructions to the people of Israel. These are the Lord's appointed festivals, which you're to proclaim as official days for holy assembly. You have 6 days each week for your ordinary work, but on the seventh day is a Sabbath day of complete rest, an official day for holy assembly. It is the Lord's Sabbath day, and it must be observed wherever you live. In addition to the Sabbath, these are the Lord's appointed festivals and official days for holy assembly that are to be celebrated at their proper times each year. Passover and the festival of unleavened bread. The Lord's Passover begins at sundown on the 14th day of the first month. On the next day, the 15th day of the month, you must begin celebrating the festival of unleavened bread. This festival to the Lord continues for 7 days, and during that time, the bread you eat must be made without yeast. On the first day of the festival, all the people must stop their ordinary work and observe an official day for holy assembly. For 7 days, you must present special gifts to the Lord, and on the seventh day, the people must stop all their ordinary work to observe an official day for holy assembly. Then the Lord said to Moses, give the following instructions to the people of Israel. When you enter the land I'm giving you and you harvest its first crops, bring the priest a bundle of grain from the first cutting of your grain harvest. On the day of the Sabbath, the priest will lift it up before the Lord so it may be accepted on your behalf. On the same day, you must sacrifice a 1-year-old male lamb with no defects as a burnt offering to the Lord. With it, you must present a grain offering consisting of 4 quarts of choice flour moistened with olive oil. It'll be a special gift, pleasing aroma to the Lord, and you must also offer 1 quart of wine as a liquid offering. Do not eat any bread or roasted grain or fresh kernels on that day until you bring this offering to your God. This is a permanent law for you, and you must observe it from generation to generation wherever you live. From the day after the Sabbath, the day you bring the bundle of grain to be lifted as a special offering, count off 7 full weeks. Keep counting until the day after the 7th Sabbath. 50 days later, then present an offering of new grain to the Lord. From wherever you live, bring 2 loaves of bread to be lifted up before the Lord as a special offering. Make these loaves from 4 quarts of choice flour and bake them with yeast. They will be an offering to the Lord from the first of your crops. Along with the bread, present 7 1-year-old male lambs with no defects, 1 young bull, and 2 rams as burnt offerings to the Lord. These burnt offerings, together with the grain offerings and liquid offerings, will be a special gift, a pleasing aroma to the Lord. Then you must offer 1 male goat as a sin offering and 2 1-year-old male lambs as a peace offering. The priest will lift up the 2 lambs as a special offering to the Lord, together with the loaves representing the first of your crops. These offerings, which are holy to the Lord, belong to the priests. That same day will be proclaimed an official day for holy assembly, a day on which you do no ordinary work. This is a permanent law for you and must be observed from generation to generation wherever you live. When you harvest the crops of your land, do not harvest the grain along the edges of your fields, and do not pick up the wheat the harvesters drop. Leave it for the poor and foreigners living among you. I am the Lord your God. Then the Lord said to Moses, give the following instructions to the people of Israel on the first day of the appointed month in early autumn. You're to observe a day of complete rest. It'll be an official day of holy assembly, a day commemorated with the loud blast of a trumpet. You must do no ordinary work on that day. Instead, you're to present a special gift to the Lord, the Day of Atonement. Then the Lord said to Moses, be careful to celebrate the Day of Atonement on the 10th day of the same month, 9 days after the Festival of Trumpets. You must observe it as an official day for holy assembly, a day to deny yourselves, and present special gifts to the Lord. Do not work during the entire day, because it's the Day of Atonement, when offerings of purification are made for you, making you right with the Lord your God. All who do not deny themselves on that day will be cut off from God's people, and I'll destroy anyone among you who does work on that day. You must not do any work at all. This is a permanent law for you, and it must be observed from generation to generation wherever you live. This will be a Sabbath day of complete rest, and on that day you must deny yourselves. This day of rest will begin at sundown on the 9th day of the month and extend until sundown on the 10th day. All right. The Festival of Shelters. And the Lord said to Moses, give the following instructions to the people of Israel. Begin celebrating the Festival of Shelters on the 15th day of the appointed month. Oh no, got hiccups, I think. 5 days after the Day of Atonement. This festival to the Lord will last for 7 days. On the first day of the festival, you must proclaim an official day for holy assembly, when you do no ordinary work. For 7 days, you must present special gifts to the Lord. The 8th day is another holy day on which you present your special gifts to the Lord. This will be a solemn occasion, and no ordinary work may be done. These are the Lord's appointed festivals. Celebrate them each year as official days for holy assembly by presenting special gifts to the Lord, burnt offerings, grain offerings, sacrifices, and liquid offerings, each on its proper day. These festivals must be observed in addition to the Lord's regular Sabbath days, and the offerings are in addition to your personal gifts. The offerings you give to fulfill your vows, and the voluntary offerings you present to the Lord. Verse 39. Remember that the 7th-day festival to the Lord, the Festival of Shelters, begins on the 15th day of the appointed month. After you've harvested all the produce of the land, the first day and the 8th day of the festival will be days of complete rest. On the first day, gather branches from magnificent trees, palm fronds, boughs from leafy trees, boughs, and willows that grow by the streams. Then celebrate with joy before the Lord your God for 7 days. You must observe this festival to the Lord for 7 days every year. This is a permanent law for you, and it must be observed in the appointed month from generation to generation. For 7 days, you must live outside in little shelters. All native-born Israelites must live in shelters. This will remind each new generation of Israelites that I made their ancestors live in shelters when I rescued them from the land of Egypt. I am the Lord your God. So Moses gave the Israelites these instructions regarding the annual festivals of the Lord. Then the Lord said to Moses, command the people of Israel to bring the pure oil of pressed olives for light, to keep the lamps burning continually. Chapter 24. This is the lampstand that stands in the tabernacle, in front of the inner curtain that shields the Ark of the Covenant. Aaron must keep the lamps burning in the Lord's presence all night. This is a permanent law for you, and it must be observed from generation to generation. Aaron and the priest must tend the lamps on the pure gold lampstand continually in the Lord's presence. You must bake 12 flat loaves of bread from choice flour, using 4 quarts of flour for each loaf. Place the bread before the Lord on the pure gold table, and arrange the loaves in 2 stacks with 6 loaves in each stack. Put some frankincense near each stack to serve as a representative offering, a special gift presented to the Lord. Every Sabbath day, this bread must be laid out before the Lord as a gift from the Israelites. It's an ongoing expression of the eternal covenant. The loaves of bread will belong to Aaron and his descendants, who must eat them in a sacred place, for they are most holy. It is a permanent sight to the priest to claim this portion of the special gifts presented to the Lord. One day, a man who had an Israelite mother and an Egyptian father came out of his tent and got into a fight with one of the Israelite men. During the fight, the son of an Israelite woman blasphemed the name of the Lord with a curse. So the man was brought to Moses for judgment. His mother was a Shelamite? I thought it was, I don't know. Shelamith, the daughter of Dibri, the tribe of Dan. They kept the man in custody until the Lord's will in the matter should become clear to them. Then the Lord said to Moses, take the blasphemer outside the camp and tell all those who heard the curse to lay their hands on his head. Then let the entire community stone him to death. Say to the people of Israel, those who curse their God will be punished for their sin. Anyone who blasphemes the name of the Lord must be stoned by the whole community of Israel. Any native-born Israelite or foreigner among you who blasphemes the name of the Lord must be put to death. Anyone who takes another person's life must be put to death. Anyone who kills another person's animal must pay for it in full, a live animal for the animal that was killed. Anyone who injures another person must be dealt with according to the injury inflicted. A fracture for a fracture, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. Whatever anyone does to injure another person must be paid back in kind. Whoever kills an animal must pay for it in full, but whoever kills another person must be put to death. This same standard applies to both native-born Israelites and the foreigners living among you. I am the Lord your God. After Moses gave all these instructions to the Israelites, they took the blasphemer outside the camp and stoned him to death. The Israelites did exactly as the Lord commanded Moses. All right, 2 more chapters. Here we go. We're getting there. Chapter 25, the Sabbath year. While Moses was on Mount Sinai, the Lord said to him, give the following instructions to the people of Israel. When you've entered the land I'm giving you, the land itself must observe a Sabbath rest before the Lord every 7th year. For 6 years you must plant your fields and prune your vineyards and harvest your crops. But during the 7th year, the land must have a Sabbath year of complete rest. It is the Lord's Sabbath, and do not plant your fields or prune your vineyards during that year. And do not store away the crops that grow on their own. Gather the grapes from your unpruned vines. The land must have a year of complete rest. But you may eat whatever the land produces on its own during its Sabbath. This applies to you, your male and female servants, your hired workers, and the temporary residents who live with you. Your livestock and the wild animals in your land will also be allowed to eat what the land produces. In addition, you must count off 7 Sabbath years, 7 sets of 7 years, adding up to 49 years in all. Then on the Day of Atonement in the 50th year, blow the ram's horn loud and long throughout the land. Set this year apart as holy, a time to proclaim freedom throughout the land for all who live there. It'll be a jubilee year for you. Then each of you may return to the land that belonged to your ancestors and return to your own clan. This 50th year will be a jubilee for you. During that year, you must not plant your fields or store away any of the crops that grow on your own, and don't gather the grapes from your unpruned vines. It'll be a jubilee year for you, and you must keep it holy. But you may eat whatever the land produces on its own. In the year of jubilee, each of you may return to the land that belonged to your ancestors. When you make an agreement with your neighbor to buy or sell property, you must not take advantage of each other. When you buy land from your neighbor, the price you pay must be based on the number of years since the last jubilee. The seller must set the price by taking into account the number of years remaining until the next year of jubilee. The more years until the next jubilee, the higher the price. The fewer years, the lower the price. After all, the person selling the land is actually selling you a certain number of harvests. Show your fear of God by not taking advantage of each other. I am the Lord your God. If you want to live securely in the land, follow my decrees and obey my regulations. Then the land will yield large crops and you'll eat your fill and live securely in it. But you might ask, what will we eat during the 7th year since we're not allowed to plant or harvest crops that year? Be assured that I will send my blessing for you in the 6th year, so the land will produce a crop large enough for 3 years. When you plant your fields in the 8th year, you'll still be eating from the large crop of the 6th year. In fact, you'll be eating from the large crop when the new crop is harvested in the 9th year. See that? If you rest, God will take care of you. The land must never be sold on a permanent basis, for the land belongs to me. You are only foreigners and tenant farmers working for me. With every purchase of land, you must grant the seller the right to buy it back. If one of your fellow Israelites falls into poverty and is forced to sell some family land, then a close relative should buy it back from him. If there's no close relative to buy the land, but the person who sold it gets enough money to buy it back, then he has the right to redeem it from the one who bought it. The price of the land will be discounted according to the number of years until the next year of Jubilee. In this way, the original owner can return to the land. But if the original owner cannot afford to buy the land back, it will remain with the new owner over the next year of Jubilee. In the Jubilee year, the land must be returned to the original owner so that they can return to their family land. Anyone who sells a house inside a walled town has the right to buy it back for a full year after its sale. During that year, the seller retains the right to buy it back. But if it's not bought back within a year, the sale of the house within the walled town cannot be reversed. It'll become the permanent property of the buyer, and it will not be returned to the original owner in the year of Jubilee. But a house in a village, a settlement without fortified walls, will be treated like a property in the countryside. Such a house may be bought back at any time, and it must be returned to the original owner in the year of Jubilee. Wow, that's intense. 5 years go by, and they just, I want to buy my house back. See ya. The Levites will always have a right to buy back a house they've sold within the towns allotted to them. And property that is sold by the Levites, all houses within the Levitical towns, must be returned in the year of Jubilee. After all, the houses in the towns reserved for the Levites are only the property they own, are all the property they are, I'm sorry, are the only property they own in all of Israel. The open pastured land around the Levitical towns may never be sold. It's their permanent possession. Here we go. If one of your fellow Israelites falls into poverty and cannot support himself, support him as you would a foreigner or a temporary resident and allow him to live with you. Do not charge interest or make a profit at his expense. Instead, show your fear of God by letting him live with you as your relative. Remember, do not charge interest on money you lend him or make a profit on food you sell him. I am the Lord your God who brought you out of the land of Egypt to give you the land of Canaan and to be your God. If one of your fellow Israelites falls into poverty and is forced to sell himself, do not treat him as a slave. Treat him as if a hired worker or a temporary resident lived with you, and he'll serve you only until the year of Jubilee. At the time that he and his children will no longer be obligated to you, and they will return to their clans and go back to the land originally plotted to their ancestors, allotted. Sorry. The people of Israel are my servants, whom I brought out of the land of Egypt, so they must never be sold as slaves. Show your fear of God by not treating them harshly. However, you may purchase a male and female slave from among the nations around you. You may also purchase the children of temporary residents who live among you, including those who have been born in your land, and you may treat them as your property, passing them on to your children as a permanent inheritance. You may treat them as slaves, but you must never treat your fellow Israelites this way. I'm so grateful we're not under this anymore. Suppose a foreigner or temporary resident becomes rich while living among you. If any of your fellow Israelites falls into poverty and are forced to sell themselves to a foreigner or family member of his family, they still retain the right to be bought back even after they've been purchased. They may be bought back by a brother, an uncle, or a cousin. In fact, anyone from the extended family may buy them back. They may also redeem themselves if they've prospered. They will negotiate the price of their freedom with the person who bought them. The price will be based on the number of years from the time they were sold till the next year of Jubilee, whatever it would cost to hire a worker for that period of time. If many years still remain until Jubilee, they will repay the proper portion of what they received when they sold themselves. If only a few years remain until the year of Jubilee, they will repay a small amount for their redemption. The foreigners must treat them as workers hired on a yearly basis. You must not allow foreigners to treat any of your fellow Israelites harshly. If any Israelite have not been bought back by the time the year of Jubilee arrives, they and their children will be set free at that time. For the people of Israel belong to me. They are my servants who I brought out of the land of Egypt. I am the Lord your God. All right. All right. We're 43 minutes in and we have one more chapter. Oh, let's stretch it out here. Here we go. One more chapter for today. Chapter 26, Blessings for Obedience. Do not make idols or set up carved images or sacred pillars or sculpted stones in your land so you may worship them. I am the Lord your God. You must keep my Sabbath days of rest and show reverence for my sanctuary. I am the Lord. If you follow my decrees and are careful to obey my commands, I will send you, I will send you the seasonal rains. The land will then yield its crops and the trees of the field will produce their fruit. Your threshing season will overlap with the grape harvest, and your grape season will overlap with the season of planting grain. You will eat your fill and live securely on your own land. I will give you peace in the land, and you'll be able to sleep with no cause for fear. I will rid the land of wild animals and keep your enemies out of your land. In fact, you will chase down your enemies and slaughter them with your swords. 5 of you will chase 100, and 100 of you will chase 10,000. All your enemies will fall beneath your sword. I will look favorably upon you, making you fertile and multiplying your people, and I will fulfill any covenant with you. You will have such a surplus of crops that you'll need to clear out old grain to make room for the new harvest. I will live among you and I will not despise you. I will walk among you, I will be your God, and you'll be my people. I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, so you'll no longer be their slaves. I broke the yoke of slavery from your neck, so you can walk with your heads held high. However, if you do not listen or obey these commands, and if you break my covenant by rejecting my decrees, treating my regulations with contempt, and refusing to obey my commands, I will punish you. I will bring sudden terrors upon you, wasting diseases and burning fevers that will cause your eyes to fail and your life to ebb away. You'll plant your crops in vain because your enemies will eat them. I will turn against you, and you'll be defeated by your enemies. Those who hate you will rule over you, and you'll run even when no one is chasing you. And if, in spite all of this, you still disobey me, I will punish you 7 times over for your sins. I will break your proud spirit by making the skies as unyielding as iron and the earth as hard as bronze. All your work will be for nothing, for your land will yield no crops and your trees will bear no fruit. Even if you remain hostile towards me and refuse to obey me, I will inflict disaster on you 7 times over for your sins. I will send wild animals that will rob you of your children and destroy your livestock. Your numbers will dwindle and your roads will be deserted. And if you fail to learn the lessons and continue your hostility towards me, then I myself will be hostile towards you. I will personally strike you with calamity 7 times over for your sins. I will send armies against you to carry out the curse of the covenant you've broken. When you run to your towns for safety, I will send a plague to destroy you there, and you'll be handed over to your enemies. I'll destroy your food supply. That 10 women will need to will let's see. 10 women will only need one oven to bake bread for their families. They will ration your food by weight, and though you have food to eat, you'll not be satisfied. If in spite all of this you still refuse to listen and still remain hostile towards me, then I will give this full vent to my hostility. I myself will punish you 7 times over for your sins. Then you'll eat the flesh of your own sons and daughters. I will destroy your pagan shrines and knock down your place of worship. I will leave your lifeless corpses piled on top of your lifeless idols, and I will despise you. I will make your cities desolate and destroy your places of pagan worship. I will take no pleasure in your offerings that should be pleasing aroma to me. Yes, I myself will devastate your land, and your enemies who come to occupy it will be appalled by what they see. I will scatter among you the nations and bring out my sword against you. Your land will become desolate, and your cities will lie in ruins. Then at last the land will enjoy its neglected Sabbath years as it lies desolate while you're in exile in the land of your enemies. Then the land will finally rest and enjoy the Sabbath it's missed. As long as the land lies in ruins, it'll enjoy the rest you never allowed it to take every 7th year while you lived in it. And for those who survive, I will demoralize you in the land of your enemies. You'll live in such fear that a sound of a leaf driven by the wind will send you fleeing. You'll run as though fleeing from a sword, and you'll fall even when no one pursues you. Though no one is chasing you, you'll stumble over each other as though fleeing from a sword. You'll have no power to stand up against your enemies. You'll die among the foreign nations and be devoured by the land of your enemies. Those of you who survive will waste away in your enemies' lands because of their sins and the sins of their ancestors. But at last my people will confess their sins and the sins of their ancestors for betraying me and being hostile toward me. When I've turned their hostility back on them and brought them to the land of their enemies, then at last their stubborn hearts will be humbled and they'll pay for their sins. Then I'll remember my covenant with Jacob and my covenant with Isaac and my covenant with Abraham, and I'll remember the land. For the land must be abandoned to enjoy its years of Sabbath rest as it lies deserted. At last, the people will pay for their sins, for they have continually rejected my regulations and despised my decrees. But despite all of this, I will not utterly reject or despise them while they're in exile in the land of their enemies. I will not cancel my covenant or wipe them out, for I am the Lord their God. For their sakes, I will remember my ancient covenant with their ancestors, whom I brought out of the land of Egypt in the sight of all the nations. That I might be their God, I am the Lord. These are the decrees, regulations, and instructions that the Lord gave through Moses on Mount Sinai as evidence of the relationship between himself and the Israelites. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have, I think, 2 more chapters. That's all for today. And then Jared will be tomorrow at 2:00. He's going to be doing Mondays for me while I prepare for my Monday night teachings. We will still be live Monday at 6:00. We'll be live teaching through the book of Hebrews verse by verse. Jared will do the 2 p.m. reading, which we're going to be going into Numbers tomorrow. That's going to be good. If you're still watching on the replay or you're on the live right now, type God is good in the comments. This is going to help us on the algorithm. All right. All you on the replay that are still watching, type God is good down below because that'll get us comments going on the algorithm, get it recommended and all that good stuff. I know it seems like, it's a grind going through the book of Leviticus, but we're almost done. So we're pushing through. I'm very excited to get to some other books after 2 days of reading laws and all that stuff. I'm very excited to get into some new content here. But yeah, it's the word of God. You can get something out of it no matter what it is. I want to say once again, thank you so much for joining in the live chat, for sharing it, sending it to friends and family. Set your alarm, guys, at 2:00. Be on these every single day. It's so encouraging to see all of you here. Also, pray about becoming a monthly partner. If you do monthly partner our ministry, you get 70 sermons, you get 20% off the merch store, and you get invited to our 1 p.m. prayer call. Every Thursday at 1 p.m., we have a prayer call together for all of our monthly partners. So you can support by going to this link on screen. You can go to the description. The mods are putting it also in the chat. You can become a monthly partner. I'll email you personally and send you all the info. And also make sure that you grab the book. It's on Amazon, How to Cast Out Demons. All right. I appreciate you guys so much. It is Sunday. I'm going to go be with my family. I love you guys so much. Salute. I will see you. Well, Jared will be here tomorrow at 2. And then I will see you guys tomorrow night at 6:00 for the verse by verse book of Hebrews. Okay. See you guys. Tell your friends and family, and I'll see you guys
All right. So that is it for day number 9. The links to both our channels is in the comment sections. So please support us by hitting the like, the subscribe buttons. Also leave a comment. That is it for tonight. God bless. Love you guys. Have a great day.
Yeah. Yeah. Raymond got the Bible, thumb on the spine. Isaiah saldivar, set the pace at the time. 90 days, no flex, just pages and grind. From Genesis to Revelation, he's walking the line. Early in the morning, before the world calls. One chapter at a time, he don't skip, he don't stall. He read it in the dark, then he read it again. What started as a seed turned the room into amen. From the first book to the last page, keep the fire lit, keep the heart engaged. One day, one word, one step, one breath. Raymond stay faithful to the finish of the test. 90-day Bible read, 90-day Bible read, Genesis to Revelation. 90-day Bible read, read it. Raymond on the word, Raymond on the word. Isaiah on a journey, and the truth gets heard. He got a pen in his hand, marks in the margin, promises underlined like he's building the garden. Psalms for the hurt, Proverbs for the walk, Gospels for the hunger when the night get dark. You don't need a stage, he don't need a crown, just a quiet little yes when the pressure come down. And every chapter hit like a fresh new lane, from the old world dust to the lamb's bright rain. From the first book to the last page, keep the fire lit, keep the heart engaged. One day, one word, one step, one breath. Raymond stay faithful to the finish of the test. 90-day Bible read, 90-day Bible read, Genesis to Revelation. 90-day Bible read, read it. Raymond on the word, Raymond on the word. Isaiah on the journey, and the truth gets heard. Feel tired, he still turns the page with the holy desire. No fast talk, no smoke, just the soul in tune. Morning after morning till the whole book bloom. 90-day Bible read, 90-day Bible read, Genesis to Revelation. 90-day Bible read, read it. Raymond on the word, Raymond on the word. Journey, and the truth gets heard.